Um, Good day, sir. My name is Luis Gabriel S. Rosales, and I'm the sole presenter and programmer of this project for the finals, which I entitled um, the CCS 103 Finals Project, which basically the program is about making our own registration form or registration application or an application that will be used as a registration form for a particular college. Let's say, for example, PNC, we have the Pinnacle or the iEnroll website. The main purpose of our program is to basically simulate the um, same features present in that program, in that website, but in a program in Java Swing. So without further ado, I would start my presentation, sir. And the presentation will be split into two parts. The first part will handle the basic explanation of the program flow, excuse me, while the second part will briefly explain the frame-by-frame functions that my multi-form program has. So let's start with the presentation and the explanation of the program flow. So I'm going to start the program. Okay, so as we can see, upon runtime, the loading screen appears as taught by user. And there we go. Once the loading screen has finished, the main frame or the main panel will be loaded in. We can see here in the main panel, we can see that the icon of the main program is set to be the icon of the quote-unquote imaginary school that we have, which is Elixirs University of the Philippines or EUP. We also have a icon here and a general slogan and general ad, so to speak, which is not important as it's not only for aesthetic purposes. We're going to move with the main parts of the program now. In the mainframe, upon running it, we can see that there's two J menus, that being the student options and the program options. We can see in student options that we have the registered menu item, registration fees menu item, registration records menu item, transactions log menu item, and in the program options, we have the reset records and the exit menu item. I apologize for the noise, sir. May dumaan lang po na motor. So we're going to continue. After looking at the menu or the menu and the menu bar, we're going to move with the J table present in our main panel. As you can see, the college and courses available showcases all the colleges and courses available for the specific school, which is the EUP. It supports five colleges. We have a corresponding college ID for every college, and each college has their corresponding courses. And then moving on to the other part is the added services available, which showcases all the added services available for each and every course within a single particular college. We can see the college ID here. This is number one. The number one, let's use this as an example. The college ID number one represents the College of CCE. And the College of CCE has one, two, three, four, five courses. So we can see here the available services for each course in the College of CCE. So we can see that there's a considerable amount of colleges of courses and their respective services. So we can see in the BSCS course, we have tech skills bootcamp, career pathway workshops, and full computer lab access as their three main services available. And it goes on the same for most of the CCS subjects, but we can see more variation when it comes to other colleges such as the COED or the College of Education. We can see in College of Education, the first course that is listed in the College of Education is SEDE, which is secondary education in English, and we can see that the services available for that is literary analysis workshop, classroom management seminars, teaching techniques, and so on. And we have the second course enlisted in COED, which is SEDF, which is for Filipino, secondary education Filipino, pagbasa at pagsusuri workshop, pamahala sa silid-aralan seminars, so on and so forth. So that's the general display that you will be seeing upon the program start of the mainframe. Now let's move on to the menu items. Let's start with the more simple menu items. So we have the program options. We have exit, of course. The exit menu item shows a J option pane and a show confirm dialog that asks the user, are they sure that they want to exit the program? And For the purpose of this presentation, we're not going to exit the program yet. Then we also have the reset records. As of now, there's no records to be reset as there's no registration or there's no registered student on my school. But should there be a registered student, once this yes button is clicked, then essentially the whole program will be reset and no registered students will be available for the EUP or the Elixirs University of the Philippines. Now proceeding with the much more simpler ones in the student options, we have the transactions log. The transactions log holds the registration ID, the full name of the student that is registered, the registered college and courses that they took, and the registered services that they took, and as well as the total cost for all of that, adding the cost of the cost of the course and the cost of the services that they availed. Next is the registration records. Oh, and it's important to note that when the user selects a different menu item and it displays its corresponding frame, we don't overlap frames. The previous frame will be closed, and if the same frame is to be opened, then the previous iteration of it will be closed, so that there won't be an overload of frames. I'll demonstrate it. Registration records. I clicked it once. We only have one tab. I click it again. We still have one tab of registration students because the this form gets disposed every time that it is clicked again, but it still exists. Okay, and we have and continuing on, we have registered students, which displays all the information of the students that is registered to the EUP. We have registration ID. We have the student LRN, which is validated for the proper format. We have the full name. We have the age or slash upcoming age as it calculates what age the user will be or what age is the user currently. And then we have the college and the course that they availed in or they registered under. Up next is the registration fees. Now, registration fees is one of the more unique frames that we have in this multi-form program because the registration fees can be clicked and can be accessed even if any form is opened. So let's say I open registration records. You see? Let me close registration fees first. If I open the registration records, if I were to open transactions log, then the registration records will be closed as it only allows one form at a time. But registration fees does not follow that rule because the registration fees serves as a cheat sheet or a reference for the user so that they can see the possible costs that they will have for availing to a particular course or a particular service. It is important that this form is always accessible regardless of the operation that the user is currently at in order for it to be referenceable at all times because it's important that the user can reference what amount of money they are going to pay should they register to a particular course and a particular service. So continuing on with the other option, which is register. So we're going to start the actual flow of the program. Register. Upon clicking the register button, we are presented with the forms that are to be filled out, which are the informations for the student that is going to be registered to the particular school. And apart from it, we have also let's just continue on with this. So let's say last name, Rosales, first name, Luis Gabriel, middle name is Sorilla. Okay, so we can see here, let's say I registered now. Let me reset this. Let's say I register now. These J option pop up will appear, informing me that the entered name is invalid and the entered LRN is invalid because as we can see, there's no last name, and as we can see, there's no student LRN provided by the registering user. There are checks implemented within this part of the frame, which I is already discussed in the comments and the documentation. And those checks check whether the inputs that are given by the user is valid for registration. So we're just going to continue with the registration. Let's give a valid name. I'm going to give a valid name, Rosales. Okay. Now let's give an invalid student LRN, which is the common number of units in an LRN are 12. There's 12 digits in an LRN. So let's give just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I were to register there, it would show that the entered LRN is invalid, even though the name that I entered is already in the valid format. The entered LRN I have is still in an invalid format. No, let's make it valid. 9, 10, 11, 12. And this also add the previous school, which is the Kabuyao Institute of Technology. Okay, so if I were to register right now, the registration process will go through because every information that I inputted is valid. But we want to make it so that that wouldn't be the case. So let's try putting an invalid birth year. Because let's say I was born in December 1 to 2024, which is impossible. If I were to register that, the age calculated is invalid. If the entered date of birth is correct, please complete the registration process in person. So this J pop-up option is here to inform the user that if they should they enter an invalid age, let's say that they are too young. The general upon my research, the average age for a college student is 18 years old. And I gave it the caveat that every 17 years old could also be a college student, as I know that there are some people that are 17 years old and are currently a college student. But I do not know of any 16-year-old that is currently a college student. So I made it so that if the program calculates that the age of the user will be 16, then the age that the birthday or the information that they gave is considered to be invalid. But this could also be a case that the user happens to be a special case of advanced learner. Let's say that they skipped grades and they are younger, but they're already in college. That's why there's the message. There's the message here, which generally means that please complete the registration process in person. That means that the user should complete the registration process. Let's say the school is actually real. The user would need to complete the actual process in person so that they can validate their age and their current situation. This also goes if you're too old. Let's say, let's say you were born in the 19,000s. That would mean you're about, I don't know how old you are, but you're definitely going to be too old for school. But let's say that you're that age and you still want to go to college in the EUP, then the appropriate message will also be presented. But this is also just a message for the just in case scenario. Now let's continue and actually register a proper input. So let's first reset the inputs. My name is Rosales. Luis Gabriel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2. I don't memorize my LRN, sir. Um, Kabuyao. Okay. So if I were to click register here, the information that I inputted would be properly registered. But let's first check the other options. Let's say calculate fee. This will then check the current total fee that I am currently availing. And the result would be 1,500 because the only selected um, item here is the course. And as we can see here in the student options and the registration fees, the course fee for the CCE and BSIT is 1,500 pesos, which also corresponds with what is presented here, 1,500 pesos. Now let's say we add this um, specific service that would add 500 if I'm not mistaken. The tech skill bootcamp adds um, 500 pesos. So that would calculate to 2,000 pesos. Now let's add career pathway workshops, the second service that would add 300 pesos. So this would be the calculated fee will be 2,300 and so on and so forth, 2,400. As we can see, the calculate fee calculates the current total fee that the user currently has. And should I register, I will be greeted with this message and the cur- current total fees that I need to pay. And I'm also informed that I should check my registration info and fees info in on their corresponding menu items. Now let's see those corresponding menu items. Let's check the registration records. The registration records now prints out my registration ID, my student LRN, my full name, my age or my upcoming age, my college, the college that I registered under, and the course that I registered under. Now let's check transactions log. The transactions log contains the registered college and course, which is CCE, BSIT, and the registered services, which is Service 1, Service 2, and Service 3, totaling into 2,400 pesos. Now, let's try a different register. Let's say Danganan, Princess Julian Villegas. Oh, and I have also forgot to mention the upon clicking of the college or the course, the corresponding service available also gets updated there. Okay, so let's continue with this. Study E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I input it right? Here. Now we can also see that calculate fee would correspond to the actual properly calculated fee. Let's say I avail all of this, it would total in 2,000, and we can refer that to the on the the registration fees, which is co-ed is ID number two, co-ed ID number two plus co-ed study literary analysis workshop. So that's 300, 400, 300. So plus that, add that to the 1,000, which will total in 2,000. If I were to reduce the registered services, it will also reduce the current total fee. And I can also reset inputs where we already presented it before and register once again. Register will also update the registered students info and the transactions log info containing all the college and course availed, as well as the registered services availed. If should the user not register any service, then this statement will be this portion or this column would be left as blank. And the total cost will only display the selected course and the fee of the selected course. Okay, so now that we're done with the program, oh, we can also show that the reset records resets the registered students and resets the transaction log, as well as the arrays that are used for data presentation of that and the model that is used for data presentation of that. And the exit method should yes will also close the program. So that finishes the part of the program with the exit option. Now we're going to go over the a quick go over of the functions um, of the program as it's already been explained in the comments and the documentation. So we're going to start with the loading frame. The loading frame contains an image icon, which as we can see, used for the a GIF icon rather, which is used for the simulation of the animation of a loading screen. And it also has the basic components. And then we can see in the mainframe, upon program startup, we can also see that all the important default table models, all the arrays used for updating, and all the labels and the components and general variables that are integral for manipulating the data or adding data within the program is already initialized within the main frame, making it the main hub or the main source of every data manipulation for the program, even though it's multi-form. So we can see here upon the program startup that the loading frame is loaded, and you already taught us this, sir, so I won't go over this. I just copied what you taught to us, sir, with a little bit of changes that I did to make it a bit more unique. And then we're going to instead focus on the methods that are used. So here, the first method is a frame disposal method. This frame disposal method, as its name entails, disposes all the frames should they be active at the current should they be currently active. I usually add this in the parts when the user clicks another frame or initializes another frame, so ensuring that there's only one frame available at all times, with the exception of the registration fees frame. Next is the add college course contents. It basically puts the contents of the necessary for the model college courses, puts it in a string, and that string array is added as a row for that specific model, which also updates the table. The same can be said for the add services, with the only difference being that it uses a 3D array, as the added services array corresponds with a index college, a particular course, and a particular index for the service access. Registration fees basically also does the same. Sir, I would like to rush the video. I'm sorry, it's 4:50 p.m. But the the registration fees frame basically adds all the info that is needed for displaying the registration fees. Basically the same feature here that adds the services and adds the college and courses. This adds the courses fees and the services fees to be displayed. The registration records also updates the it takes all the necessary inputs stored within an array, stores it um, in a array, and that object array is used as a row for the specific model that is used by the specific table. Same with the transactions log. It's they all share the same idea, sir, when it comes to the program flow. And with the registration frame itself, the registration frame contains a pretty long validation check. It is well explained in the details, sir, and I'm sorry as I have to finish the video as I need to upload it. But that is the general flow of my program. That is the general flow of how it works, and I also provided a brief explanation of how it works. I showed the flow, and I showed how it works. So I hope that video is enough, and I hope this documentation is enough. And thank you, sir, for being our teacher. I want to say thank you, sir. Thank you po, sir. And that's all. I-upload ko na po yung video.